Bridgeport Christian Church is a congregation of the Christian Church Disciples of Christ located just west of Frankfort, Kentucky. Bridgeport Christian is an open and affirming congregation where all are welcome. We are a green chalice congregation, meaning we are committed to doing our part to care for God's creation. Bridgeport Christian Church was dedicated on November 7, 1846. The charter was signed by 26 families, and some of their descendants are still in the church today. A second building was constructed on the same foundation in 1913. The church survived the Great Depression thanks to dedicated members who kept it alive. On April 8, 1948, a lightning strike caused a fire that burned the building to the ground. The congregation immediately launched a pledge drive to rebuild, and the new building was dedicated on May 22, 1949. The church grew during the second half of the 20th century. Several additions to the building were constructed, and a new steeple was added to commemorate the church's 150th anniversary in 1996. Current and former church members recall days gone by at Bridgeport Christian Church.
The sunrise service up on the hill, overlooking the valley there off North Benson. Some of my favorite events were the simple ones, the ice cream suppers, the meals, the Easter morning breakfasts and services.
Clyde and I joined Bridgeport in 1960. Tommy was just a baby at the time. Lisa was born 2 years later. At the time Clyde and I joined Bridgeport, it was a small country church. Roscoe and Emily Harrod, Roy and Margaret Rice were the senior couples at that time. The young families at that time were Keller and Polly Thornton, Hugh and Patricia Crutcher, Billy and Joan Hyatt, Bobby and Martha Harrod, and Evelyn Hayden.
We started out to look at churches at first Sunday, and we got to the top of the hill. There was a crowd leaving church, and of course, traffic was tight, and some of them invited us to come back that night or the next weekend. And we went back and we joined it.
My brother and I, Kenny, we used to mow the yard, janitors of church, and then in the wintertime on Saturday nights at midnight, we'd go in and build a fire in the furnace, old coal furnace. We'd get in the floor and split the wood to make kindling to get it going. But we'd build it every Saturday night about midnight, have it warm for the next morning. And then in summertime, we'd turn them air conditioners on at midnight to have it cool. 2 window units, big old thing.
Savior, like a shepherd, lead us. Much we need thy tender care. In thy pleasant pastures feed us. For our use thy folds prepare. Blessed Jesus, thou hast brought us thine we are. Blessed Jesus, thou hast brought us thine we are.
I remember as a kid, before the air conditioners showed up, we'd raise the windows on both sides And then I'd sitting back there on the back, I'd be watching the wasp, trying to figure out who was going to get stung today or who was going to have a smacking fit trying to get them off their hair.
I always enjoyed the Christmas programs and stuff, and they were a lot of fun because each year they changed so much, and in the last 20 years especially, they've just been magnificent.
The Gayhart family was invited to come to Bridgeport Christian Church in the mid-70s. Lois Gayhart was a widow with 7 children, ranging from high school through elementary age. After meeting Curtis and Cheryl Harrod at school, they invited the family to join them at their youth groups and church activities at BCC. Their new church family welcomed them. Lois and her husband Ernest had always raised their children as Christians, but they had never been a part of a church that had youth activities, softball leagues, and church camps. So as we grew over the years, our spiritual life blossomed, as well as the development and strengthening of our friendships and relationships among the members of the church. We became a part of the BCC family. Lois passed away in 1999. Our BCC family has been there to surround us with love in times of loss, as well as celebrate weddings, births, baptisms, and graduations. We look forward to many more.
Clyde and I had been members for nearly 60 years. At the time of his passing in February 2020, we've watched it grow so much during our time with the church. Bridgeport Christian Church has been a large part of my family life, and I love it.
From Bridgeport's beginning, when Mary Bailey Jenkins donated the land for the first church building, women have formed the backbone of the church. In the late 20th century, Faye Utterback became BCC's first female elder, and Mary Potter was elected the church's first female board chairperson.
When I first was elected chair, Kirby Fent, who some of you may know and love, made buttons for everyone at the church, and they were white with a black sign that said YABUT, yeah, but. And Kirby put a slash mark across those letters and said to me, that's because it's time for no more, yeah, but, we've never done that, yeah, but. And we lived with that while I was chairman of the board. We did a lot of things that we've never done before, probably never will do again. We created the daycare center, and without Bonnie Hayden, that project would have driven us all totally insane. We celebrated the 150th, and we had multiple committees that worked on that project that made it into a success, and we had hundreds of people show up. The choir was there and sang a new piece. There was just a lot of stuff going on. And there was a lot of stuff going on because a lot of us were involved, and a lot of us stayed involved. And that's what makes the difference, and that's what's making your success today. I tried as chairman of the board to be as inclusive as I could be. I also tried to have a plan. And when I first started, I had a plan of a lot of different ways we could reach out into the community. We didn't get them all done, but at least we worked on them. And I see now that you are doing the same thing. Your ecologically friendly Green Chalice program is an example to me and to folks down here of what you can do if you think about the environment around you. And I give credit to Annette Hayden and all of those who worked on that project for keeping it going. I still enjoy getting the newsletter. I love seeing that you have new people coming in. You have been a blessing to me. I hope that I have been a blessing to you. Congratulations, Bridgeport.
The Helping Hands Circle is a women's group that meets monthly, studies selected lessons, and organizes projects to support church and community needs. Helping Hands supports scholarships for high school seniors, purchases needed items for the church, donates to community nonprofits, and encourages people with their card ministry. The Circle's annual November Bazaar brings together church members and visitors from the community to eat a hearty breakfast, buy and sell crafts, and enjoy Christian fellowship. Past women's fellowship groups at BCC included Koinonia and Women of the Word. Perhaps the most public BCC ministry is its music program, which Hollis Rosenstein led for more than 30 years until her retirement in April 2022. The chancel choir numbered nearly 40 singers at its peak, and our Christmas program drew overflow crowds for many years. Some musicians formed smaller groups like the Bridgeport Boys and the Jubilee Singers. In early 2022, the Jubilee Singers, later known as the Sisters of Song, talked about some of their most memorable experiences.
For me, it was at Cane Ridge. I just really felt the Holy Spirit.
I liked our concert with the boys. I thought that was really special, and the congregation just, they just loved us no matter what we did, and we're very thankful for that.
Yes.
But I thought that was just wonderful.
Yeah. For me, at Stewart Homeschool, I felt like it was such a privilege to sing with the special needs adults that appreciated it so much, and you could just feel
I enjoyed
what we're supposed to be doing.
the Senior Citizen Center.
Oh, I love singing at the Senior Center.
There,
Yeah, that was
it's
fun.
when people are out there that you can tell that they appreciate it and they're singing along.
And they had
The nursing
homes where they sing where you go, and we'll even ask them, what do you want to sing? And we'll sing with you and hold hands and, go room to room. I think that was even more special than even some of the concerts.
Right.
Some that we've just been privileged to do a lot of things, and a lot of things that revolve around spirituality and end-of-life care, and then celebrations of life and everything else.
For decades, Bridgeport's youth ministry has offered a wide variety of activities: classroom education, vacation Bible school, day trips, mission trips, and many others, to help our young people grow up to be responsible Christian adults.
I think about all the trips that Billy Height would load us in the back of the truck. He had a truck that had a topper on it. We'd all pile in the back of it, and he'd take us to like Jolan Park or to the State Fair or to just different places.
In 2012, Bridgeport Christian Church became a certified Green Chalice congregation of the Disciples of Christ, putting action behind the church's commitment to creation care. BCC launched our annual Greenstock Creation Care Festival in 2014. In 2019, Bridgeport called our first female senior minister, the Reverend Ann Shepard, and she filled the pulpit the following January. In 2020, the church declared itself an open and affirming congregation to welcome our LGBTQ brothers and sisters. During the COVID-19 pandemic that struck in 2020, Bridgeport discontinued in-person worship for several months. We used modern information technology to broadcast services live on the internet and meet virtually from our homes. While the building was empty, members renovated the classrooms and added equipment to enhance the in-person experience. The church regathered for good with our 175th anniversary service on November 7th, 2021.
We give our thanks to our giving God. We dedicate our love to you through joyful song. Teach me to listen when there's lessons to be learned, and hold my heart when I impart the wisdom of your word.
For more than 175 years, Bridgeport Christian Church has stood tall on a rise overlooking Evergreen Road, built on a foundation of faith and fellowship. Inspired by the saints who came before us, and with a new generation of leaders coming forward, Bridgeport Christian Church is prepared to serve God in our community for years to come.
Oh, I just feel like something good is about to happen. I just feel like something good is on its way. He has promised that he'd open all of heaven. And brother, it could happen any day. Oh, when God's people humble themselves and call on Jesus, and they look to heaven expecting us to pray. I just feel like something good is about to happen. And brother, this could be that very day. And brother, this could be that very day. I just feel like something good is about to happen.